Okay. Uh, just in case you're not totally sick of me yet, I decided to make part two because I want some feedback. So, anyway, I have been talking about finding non food solutions to things that make me want to eat or act addictively. It doesn't have to be food. It could be, you know, any myriad of addictive things, and it always seems to be self-destructive. Have you ever noticed that there is no Brussels sprouts anonymous, or, you know, anyway? But when I want to do things that aren't good for me, I know something's going on. And so one of the things that I know, I have three emotions that really get me going. One is boredom, the other is procrastination, and the third one is stress. And the first one, boredom, I actually quite often cure with stress. I'm kind of a stress junkie, which is why I'm in litigation. That's the area of law that I work in. It's a high stress, high pace, fast moving job. And it's kind of funny because if you go to a large law firm, they tend to segregate the lawyers by the type of law they practice. And if you go to the litigation side, it's like wild and crazy, and people are running back and forth at top speed, and everybody's eating lunch at their desk, and you know, there's papers flying, and it's noisy. And then you go to the other side, like corporate or real estate, and it's like a library. You know, you can like hear people typing, and you want to whisper, and you know, you gotta slink through. So I'm kind of a stress junkie, and I know that that is actually a remnant from my childhood. I can actually handle pretty high volumes of stress, and so when I'm really stressed, you know that the volume is really high. And I spent, you know, my childhood in stress, and so it actually is a comfortable place for me to be to a certain level. And it's funny how you can become used to something that isn't good for you. And I remember a nutritionist explaining this to me, and the way she explained it to me is she says, you know, things that are self-destructive, you actually get used to. It's kind of like smoking cigarettes. When you first start smoking cigarettes, you cough and you gag, and it doesn't taste very good. But for some reason, you want to look cool, or whatever the reason you're doing it is. And after a while, you get used to it. And after a while, you get so used to it, your body readjusts everything so that it actually needs it and craves it. And that's when you go over the edge. And so, yeah, stress is a thing for me. And sometimes I cure boredom with stress. And in its lowest dosage form, my stress is highly productive. I'm a really productive person. When I was a campfire girl leader, I didn't have one club, I had three. And I had help, and I had great co-leaders, and I had parents, and, you know, it wasn't like I did it single-handedly, but it was like a part-time job, you know, and, or I'm queen of the fundraisers at, you know, the church or the school, or, you know, so I'm always busy with something, and I'm always kind of this high energy person, or at least I used to be, and then I got disabled. And now that I have my health back, I'm busy again. I mean, aside from working three jobs, then, you know, I'm busy catching up on old friends that I let go, because the last couple years prior to my surgery, I really neglected a lot of important relationships in my life because I couldn't go out and I couldn't do anything. So I'm a pretty busy person. So that's boredom. And procrastination, I just have to be careful of. And when procrastination is in my face and I want to do something other than what I need to do, I just have to literally force myself to do it. And the third one is stress. And I have a lot of stress right now at work, and there's some stress also in my personal life. So I guess I want to do a shout out for people who might have some ideas of how they handle stress in the moment. And what happens to me is when I am in stress overload, I get very focused. And it's almost like I'm having a dialogue in my head. It's a trick I learned when I managed restaurants years ago, and I started as a waitress. And When you waitress, you have to think 5 steps ahead. It's like, okay, I'm going to deliver the plate to this table, and then I'm going to stop by that table and take their order, and then I'm going to stop by this table and see how their order's doing. And you always think like 4 or 5 steps ahead of where you're at. And so when I go into stress overdrive, that's kind of how I start thinking. I have these conversations in my head. And I'm like, okay, I got to do this, and okay, and I got that, and I have this, and I'm ready to go, and are you ready to go? And okay, you're loaded in the car, and the house is locked up, and da-da-da-da. And I'm actually having this internal dialogue as I try and keep track of all the details and keep it all together. And so then when people talk to me, it's almost like they're interrupting me, even though I'm not talking to anybody, but in my head. And I can get snappy. And on Saturday, my daughter and I were trying to get up to the city to celebrate a friend's birthday for breakfast. And of course I had to be back by 1 o'clock to go to my clients, and she needed to get some tools for her pottery class, and I mean, it was just one of those days. And I'm running around trying to figure out how I'm going to get all this squeezed in before the stores close, and work here and go there, and she's like, Mom, don't snap at me. And I realized, yeah, okay, I get snappy, and that's not cool. So what I realized is that I need to find better ways to deal with my stress. And okay, yes, I got the exercise thing down, and and I know about getting enough sleep and making sure I'm handling myself nutritionally, keeping your blood sugar intact. But aside from the major things that we all know, I'm looking for tricks to deal with stress. Now, I do have one that I tried this last weekend that actually worked really good. So I'll share that with you. This actually worked. So Saturday morning, we go and we try and get something to eat, and the order got messed up. And I was like, because I'm trying to get things done and get there on time, and I still have to go buy a birthday card and some flowers, and I have to go back in and tell them the order's wrong because, of course, I can't eat what they gave me. And the poor girl got the order mixed up because I don't think she really understood English that well. And so somebody else, spoke to her in her own language, and she was very nice, and she fixed it. And I thought, I can't fault this poor girl. She's doing the best she can. And something in me reminded me of this article, like, smile. And it worked. So when I was totally stressed out, I just went, I'm going to smile. I don't want to smile, and I'm almost gritting my teeth, but I'm going to smile. And I just put this big grin on my face. And the amazing thing was that immediately the whole world reacted to me differently. Like, as I went out the door with this smile on my face, this gentleman was coming in, and he was just all of a sudden smiling and happy and holding the door and good morning. And I get out to the car, and my daughter's like, why are you smiling? And I'm like, I'm de-stressing, and she was just cracking up. And so the rest of the day, it almost became like a joke, because every time I felt stressed, I just like, and she would start laughing, because then she knew that was code for I'm feeling stressed. And amazingly, that if you put this big smile on your face in the moment of stress, within a minute or two, you actually do feel different. And I don't know how it works. I can't remember what the explanation was, but it does work. So I need to deal better with stress. And stress is never going to go away. And so if you have any suggestions, I would love to hear them. I don't know if you've read any magazines or books, or you have something to add, but I would really appreciate it. Okay, so I know y'all are probably totally sick of me, so I'm going to shut up. I wish y'all a great week, and I will check in the next time I have a break. Bye.